Hi starseeds, it's Opheana and Sikaal here. Today we want to talk to you about letting go of someone, letting go of a relationship. We're cosmic shamans and teachers of universal consciousness.
So, one of the big ones,
Yeah.
letting go of someone. Relationships, we find, obviously is one of the key areas that we've worked with people a lot, and for ourselves as well. And so we wanted to discuss the process of letting go, ways of supporting yourself. When is it time to let go? How to go about the steps, how to go about making it a peaceful process, an empowered process, with some grace mixed in. It's always going to be a little uncomfortable. Some relationships, if people are really in alignment with each other and can meet each other in the letting go process, which doesn't always happen, it's pretty rare, then there can be a graceful letting go and an acknowledgement. However, a lot of people get stuck in relationships because they don't want to create pain for the other person. They've made a vow they will take care of this other person. They can't deal with the pain in the other when they see that if they leave them, they won't cope, they feel that they can't live without them, etc. The other side of it is that by pleasing these other people, it fulfills a part in you that you find hard letting go of. So letting go of your role within the relationship, letting go of the idea of being alone, letting go. So as you can see, it's not really all about letting go of the person. It's actually about, interestingly enough, how am I going to be in the world? Who am I going to be in the world? What is it that my life is going to be like when I am on my own? And do I really want that? Am I really willing to go there? Am I really willing to move through the initiation of allowing myself to face all of these areas, allowing for the other person to go through pain that looks as if I have created it, I have assisted in them going through more pain.
And in one of our last videos we mentioned, how do you know when it is time to let go? Because relationships are, just a little recap there, are one of the most direct mirrors of what's going on inside of you as well. But when you feel you've worked through your own wounds and your own misalignments in your masculine and feminine energy and things that you want to grow in, and the relationship is not as spiritual, and in the sense that the other person doesn't want to grow as fast as you are, isn't growing as fast as you, and doesn't have the willingness or interest to, then it is time for you to decide, is it time to let go and move on? If that is the case, then one of the major steps is to really get guidance from spirit. How does that timeline look? Is there some things that I still need to work through, or is it now? And a lot of people get stuck in the 3D-ness of the entanglement within relationships. For instance, money or children or houses or jobs, or how will I support myself? It's all of the stuff that, of course you have to have a little bit of a plan around, and it's okay for there to be a little bit of a transition period for yourself, but it should ultimately never be the reason you don't do it. Because then you're blocking your own spiritual path, and there's going to be more and more pressure, like more and more water and flow and consciousness wants to move through your energy bodies, but you're blocking it out of fear or out of reasons that are not in alignment with truth, love, and light. And so, flowing with spirit's guidance there, and if you know it's time to let go, then ultimately it will always be in the best for the other person as well, no matter how much pain they need to move through, no matter how much growth this will give them ultimately, no matter if they fully want to disconnect from you, etc., whether you do remain in contact or don't, whether you remain friends or not. All of those type of things are not ultimately what makes you get the guidance to make the decision, because if the decision comes from spirit, it's clear, you've got everything aligned, and you know that it doesn't have to do with your internal growth, but it's just time for the timelines to split, then action it. Make a smart 3D plan, but don't let that block you from making the move.
Yes. One of the key areas to work on is your beliefs around worst case scenarios. So really look into, okay, so where is my mind going? Maybe you haven't actually really played it out, but worst case scenario, my partner's going to say they're going to commit suicide, or they will commit suicide, or I'll be alone and I won't have enough money to support myself. I'll be homeless, you know, go all the way. I'll die from heartbreak myself because I still love this person, but I'm so deeply unfulfilled because they're not shifting, or they abuse me on some level, verbally, emotionally, whatever it is. And so really looking at all of the beliefs around what's holding you there, by going worst case scenario, really digging that up, really just, you know, okay, so what am I scared of? What am I scared for them? What am I scared for me? In the end, it always does come back for you because you don't want to see the other person in pain. Why don't you want to see the other person in pain? Because I've been in pain and I do not want that for the person that I care about. I don't want to look like a bad person. I don't want to be a bad person. I am a bad person if I leave them. They're disabled, they don't have enough money, they're older, they're younger, whatever it is. There's always reasons people have, you know. Coming back to everyone has their own source connection and Mother Gaia connection, and it's really important that each and every person supports themselves. You know, we are here as parents to guide children, but once they're at a certain age, they too have their own pillar. It is empowering for them to stand in their own right and say, this is who I am. I don't need anybody and nobody needs me. What a place to be. And so really facing, okay, so I have a neediness of them to be okay. They have a neediness of me to make them feel okay. This is not healthy. Either look into all of those areas, sweep it all out, and then realize, okay, yeah, I'm really ready to leave. I'm facing the fears. It's going to be uncomfortable. They're going to react. They will go into what we call aspect mode, which is where people go into their personality aspects. See a huge pie, and there's many pieces of the personality pie. There are some aspects that get triggered when a certain situation happens in your life, and so you can go into aspect mode. This is a really good way to speak with your partner, by the way, if you're in a good relationship or not, and say there's just an aspect of me,
or a part of me,
not all of me, this part that gets triggered when this happens with us, an aspect of me that cannot deal with the way that you're speaking with me, etc. You know, using the I messages. I need to move on now. I need to fulfill what my heart is calling to, and it's not really sitting with you, and I can't move to that by being here. It's not in alignment anymore, and it's not saying that they're, you know, stuck necessarily. They're just on a different journey, and you need to continue to move forward. You know, get rid of any kind of neediness from you or from them. It's very important.
Yeah, and also to realize the team is mentioning that everything is in the now. So if there's still deep wonderings deep within your soul and your heart of, but maybe I am still meant to be with this person, then another route spirit can take is to have you actually do this, and perhaps later on circle back in different timelines. If you don't allow for that, you can never get to that future point. However, it is important to not hold on to that occurring as well, because spirit will make it happen if the other person so chooses as well, through their free will, because it's not just your free will involved, it's also theirs. If they do not want to grow or not want to look at their internal world and what they need to move through to accelerate their own growth, then there's no use you worrying about that. So it always comes down to you making the choices that you're guided to through your soul and spirit. And then if there is a path for you to journey together, there is. And we happen to label that as relationship or spiritual relationship. And when it is time to let go of someone, let go of that relationship, then follow your guidance there as well, and be brave and be courageous. And you know, on this life journey, there's always going to be people that hurt us and that we hurt, but it's ultimately the stories that we attach to it. And healing through that wounding, and the other person healing through it, is their growth as well. So your intention is not to hurt them or yourself, but your intention is to follow Spirit's guidance. Why? Because you're here on a high initiate path. You're here on a starseed or lightworker path, and you know there's more that awaits you. So sitting in a stagnant pocket, in a stagnant relationship that is not going where you know what you deserve because you have that love of your feminine and masculine within yourself, then it's time to action it. And often people get stuck in hoping it'll get better, hoping it'll get better. Maybe something will change.
Just good
or
enough,
little changes happen because the other person's been pressured into them, and then holds them there another year, another 2 years, and before you know it, 40 years have passed within that relationship, whereas that was not what Spirit was guiding you towards. So it's the making the moves with the guidance from Spirit needs bravery and courage, and of course a little bit of smarts in just managing that transition. But when you know it's time, it's time.
Yes, absolutely. One of the tools after you have let go, after you have, say, moved out from each other, etc., a suggestion is to put away things that remind you of them. So a little bit out of sight, out of mind. This is not denial. This is about staying in the now, staying centered. So if there's photos together, etc., put them away. If there are books that they bought you, if there are certain outfits that they loved you in, you know, just put things away for a while. Special things that you bought together that have some kind of sentimentality. Put it away, you know, even if you love it in a year, or when you've moved through the different grief processes, the attachments, and they have as well, because every time you think of them via that object, via that photo, whatever it is, you create either a cord or negative thought forms because you open up some kind of connection with them. And so instead of sitting in it, allow a natural process to happen by emptying out, having a clean and clear space, decluttering the space of the old so that the new can come in, and you can fall deeply in love with yourself through the process by emptying out, because, you know, grief can shift very quickly if you allow it, if you choose it. You can move through grief very quickly. You can move through letting go of people very quickly by remembering the truth of it all, by really lifting above the soup of the emotionality and getting to a place of really deeply understanding and loving them for where they are, loving the journey that you've had with them, loving that you are powerful in your own right, really lifting above and seeing it from a spiritual process of their spiritual being expanding to their ability, your spiritual being expanding to your ability, and really having trust, deep trust in your guidance, deep trust in your path, deep trust in your ascension team, your ascension council, the teams that are supporting you, your guides, really trusting your instincts and continually coming back to. And sometimes, this is another key, reminding yourself of why you left. And sometimes you might need to write 5 key elements, because if you're an extremely soft, compassionate, loving heart, you can fall back in very quickly. And so seeing them regularly, because you're so sweet and you just want to keep connected and stay friends, but it opens the wound every time. Sometimes you just need to have 5 points of, okay, why am I not with them again? I love them. They're being really sweet. Their text messages are so, I just, maybe I should just connect with them again. Maybe a little bit of, you know, intimacy with them. It's okay. We'll be relaxed and flow with it. However, back into the resonant frequency with them. So sometimes you need, say, 5 key elements on a little card, and when you start to drop into that place where you're starting to get weak and you're crying, and but I miss them, it hurts so much, and they're really upset. Well, I can't even remember why I left them. What's going on? And then you're like, that's right. 3 years I asked them to meet me in this area. No go. Oh, that's right. They would always shut down when I would talk about that, and I couldn't truly be who I am. What else was it? I can't even remember. I'm doing this because I've been there. It's very hard when you can love someone so much and their personality crap goes out the door and you forget. It's like when you fall in love, all the personality stuff is, you can't even see it. And so when you're in deep grief, deep fear, all of that personality stuff, all of this stuff that made you so unhappy within the relationship, it's hard to remember. And so sometimes, you know, you need to remember why you got so angry, why you got so out of alignment in the relationship, And just to not to focus on the negativity, just to hold your boundary and say, oh, that's right, yeah, okay. Discipline within this letting go process, and then come back to center and say, yeah, no, I've made the right decision. Yeah. It's okay, I'm safe.
Two other things to mention, which are more on the practical level, is often two big ticket items are kids and finances. On the finances side, it's, well, if I leave my partner, I don't have enough income to support my life, or we have a mortgage together and I won't have enough money to rent somewhere. Whatever it is, make a plan, and one of the number one keys there is budgeting, budget control. I mean, there's a lot of tips we can give on that one as well, but just get into knowing your budget and being willing to lower your budget for the transition time. So I'll leave that with that, because that's a whole video in itself. The other one is the kids. Understand that their souls on a journey with you and your partner as well. If you have those kids together, or if there's, you know, other relationships, stepkids, whatever there is within the children realm, because there's a lot of mixed families, there's a lot of connected families. You need to understand that this is part of their journey as well. Is if it is your highest guidance to move on or to create a different situation, a different living situation, then that is part of their journey as well, part of their healing, part of their themes to move through. So yes, make a plan, but understand they are here with souls as a free will as well, and the experiences they get are part of their journey if it is your guidance. So just remember that, and don't stop yourself from doing it for one of those two reasons, because Spirit will have your back financially if you use your smarts to make some form of plan, and the souls are part of the journey of the kids as well.
Yeah, the kids will learn from you how to be in integrity within relationship. If they witness you staying with your partner, marriage, whatever, because of them, you are going to teach them to do the same thing. And is that what you want for them?
Yeah.
Is that what you wanted your parents to do for you when you were a child, when you're like, they should split up, they are arguing all the time? Or you can just feel underneath that layer of they're not really fulfilled or happy together, but they're staying together for the kids. It's not what the children want ultimately. And yes, it creates trauma, it creates grief, all sorts of emotions. However, that's very much a part of their growth process, and you can teach them how to do it in a graceful way. Another area that we have found a lot with people is how to deal with the other parent, if there's issues, etc. Just use really good boundaries. Don't be afraid to hold strong boundaries that suit you. Don't be too soft and allow the other to sort of steamroller you. It's really important to hold your boundaries in a place of love and light, the universal truth. Don't hide the other's behavior from the children.
Yes.
if they're manipulating you, because that happens a lot.
Keep it honest and open and truthful within that, because that's ultimately the highest version. If you bring in truth in this and honesty and respect, you're good. And if you make a plan, use your mind, use your brain, and Spirit's got your back all the way through this. It doesn't have to be a perfect journey, and often it won't be. And that's okay to accept that, be courageous and brave when it is time.
Yeah, that's right. And it's not about saying, oh, daddy's being mean to mummy, daddy is swearing at mummy and this and that and the other. It's about being honest with explaining the behavior. Your father's going through a lot, however he needs to be respectful. He's not being respectful, so this is how we need to behave, in response to the way that he's behaving. It's really important to not ever try to protect your children from the reality of the relationships they have,
because they feel it anyway.
They already know underneath.
They're empathic, they're telepathic, they feel the vibes, even if they don't know what's going on. So open and honesty will actually give them a perfect key and a lesson for their future relationships.
It teaches them about their intuition, because if you hide that stuff, guess what you're doing? You are saying what you're feeling deep in your gut under there, it's not real, because I'm not confirming it to you. So if you... And
it's not okay.
Yeah, and it's not okay. And don't trust your intuition, because I'm not confirming it to you. And that's what happens. You grow up and you're in your 20s and you don't know who you are, and you're like, oh, I'm feeling this thing. Oh, it's probably just me. but it's not. It's actually intuition. It's true guidance, but they weren't taught to trust it because the parents weren't honest with them about what was going on in the situation. You know, with our kids, we would say, look, just going through a bit of a release at the moment. There's some energy moving through if you're feeling that. Yeah, I was, oh yeah, great, okay. And we would say the same with the kids. Oh, empathing some energy here. Shall we have a little bit of a chat? Yeah. You know, they feel everything to a certain degree. Give them that honouring and respect as well. So, you know, the last little key is just non-attachment. Just to come to a place of whatever is in the highest. It's not good, it's not bad, it is. This is part of the journey, so letting go.
And trust.
Letting go, not the, oh, I wish it was different. Oh, I have to protect myself, protect my partner, protect the children, protect the family. Oh, it's going to wreck our social life. Just let go of all of the attachments to all of that, because all of the attachments tie you, anchor you into a place where it's not really where you want to be anymore. So just keep letting it go.
And deep trust that this is what Spirit is guiding you towards. And if you know it's right, and even if you're like, oh, but is it really, really right? But if most of you really knows it's right, then it's right, and trust it. Because it's always going to be a bit of a, you know, a veiled, turbulent situation. So don't wait until it's 100% crystal clear and then do it. Just know if this is your guidance deep down, then go for it, you know. That's just be brave, courageous,
Beautiful.
Many blessings, guys. Many blessings. We'll see you next time.
Yeah. Lots of love in the process.